You introduce these lovely people sitting next to you.
This is my father, Sam Murdock. And this is my mom, Julie. Okay, so it's a very beautiful area because we covered the Columbia River Gorge from the Dalles, Oregon, all the way out to the Washington and Oregon coast, like Long Beach, Washington, and Seaside, Oregon. And so we were right on the Columbia River with tons of fruit, tons of scenery, tons of waterfalls, cool hikes. So geographically, is a very cool area, and I had the opportunity to serve on the far east and the far west, so I consider myself lucky. I got to see all of it, all the cool things. I was kind of weird. I really enjoyed waking up at 6 o'clock, especially after the last half of my mission, because I wanted to stay in shape. So I'd wake up early and exercise, and then just as typical missionary schedule, 8 o'clock, we'd be there for personal study, then 10 o'clock companionship study, or 9 o'clock companionship study, then 10 o'clock we were out the door proselyting. Generally in the morning hours between like 10 to about 2 o'clock, it was really hard to find productive things to do. So during that time we do a lot of service because the majority of the people are either at work or they're taking kids to school or out and about. So it's hard to just try to contact people that way. But in the evening, most evenings we would have appointments and set things to go and teach people, whether it be less actives or non-members of the church. Then we'd get home about 9:30 and have our nightly planning session. And then I really like to go to bed early as soon as we were done with that. So I'd go to bed probably around 10 o'clock.
I would say the Skypes from for Christmas and Mother's Day. I think those were very exciting to be able to talk to him and hear from him. But I think just how it's gonna make me cry. Just how his letters progressed, seeing how his testimony just grew and was strengthened. Weekly, monthly, every time we got a new letter from him, we were just amazed at the strength of his testimony and his understanding of the gospel and his love of the gospel and willingness to share his life serving the Lord and helping others come into Jesus Christ. It was just amazing to see that change and the power of the gospel changing his life to help other people.
I think one of the things that, as a parent, you want your children to be successful in what they do. And I think there was a lot of prayers offered on his behalf from us to the Lord that he may have those experiences that would help strengthen his testimony and help him become the man that we knew he could become. So the most memorable, I think the emails were pretty fun.
In my first area, me and my companion got a phone call from a member of the ward, and she wanted us to come and eat dinner with her friend and her friend's 2 daughters. And so we willingly, of course, went to her home to eat dinner with her and to be able to meet her friend and try to teach her friend. And so it was a very typical dinner. We had very good uplifting conversation the whole dinner. And then afterward we sat down with the member to teach her friend the restoration of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And as we sat down and were teaching her, I remember her she kept interrupting us saying, "You don't understand. You don't understand at all." And I didn't know what she was talking about, so we'd proceed teaching. And the Spirit was very strong in that room. And once we had taught her the complete restoration, she was just in tears. And she was so, not tears of sadness, but I believe they were tears of joy because of the Spirit that she felt. And she expressed to us that that night she was planning on taking her life, that she had just purchased a box of bullets, which were in her purse, and that she was going to go home that night and take her life because of addictions, because of failing marriage, because of all these different things in her life. But because we followed the promptings of the Spirit, she was able to not take her life that night. She gave the bullets to her friend, and fast forward later down the road, she got baptized and her daughter got baptized and her husband got baptized. And fast forward even more, they went to the temple and were still together as a family. which I think is something truly amazing. I think most basically and simply is that God loved each and every one of us enough that he sent his son Jesus Christ to suffer all for us. The atoning sacrifice of Jesus Christ, I think is the most powerful thing that we as humans can strive to understand, knowing that Christ suffered every pain, affliction, sorrow, temptation, everything for each and every one of us, so that he could know how to help us on an individual basis. No one else knows perfectly what we're going through besides the Savior. And that's something I've come to know with all my heart, is that Christ truly did suffer so that we can be forgiven, so that we can be helped, so that we can be uplifted. And it's all because we have a Father in heaven who cared enough for each of us individually that he wants us to return to live with him again. That's something I can honestly say with all my heart, is that Jesus Christ's atonement is the center of this gospel. And I know as we continue to live it and love it and learn about it, we're going to see the miracles and blessings in our life, being able to take that personal responsibility. And so my simple testimony is that Jesus Christ's atonement is real, that he cares for us and wants us to be back with him again with our families forever. The whole gospel is for families to be together forever. I don't think heaven would be heaven if we didn't have those that we loved. And that's my simple testimony.